The 4 Drive podcast driven by Shelter. Welcome back as Ronnie takes a sip from his 0.5 percenter, which is a non-alc, but needs to disclaimer, you need to have that on there, we've heard.
That's it. Sometimes it's good just to taste the beer because you like the taste of the beer.
Yeah, currently off the beers, Ronnie, and sticking to it, which is great. That was a New Year's resolution for you, wasn't it?
No, that was a 4 Drive show resolution.
It was too.
So, yeah. So
that's
we're
right.
going no alc until next year.
You had like 7 espresso martinis on the Saturday night and
I did.
Then backed away from alcohol for good. Hey, that was the Southern River Band Let It Ride bringing us in. The 4 Drive podcast on Instagram and all of our episodes on BackChat's YouTube. Mate, you've got the Troopy out the front. Haven't seen it in a while.
I do.
It's nice to see the big deal.
Well, it's nice to drive it again. It's you can really tell that engine's only done 100,000.
Yeah, okay.
That thing's got 900,000 left in it.
What year is it?
2015.
Yeah, righto.
Workmate.
Who'd you buy it off?
I traded the Hilux in and I bought it someplace in the Welsh Pool.
Right.
I can't remember where.
And you don't know the story behind it before you got it? For it to only do that many Ks in a Troopy is unreal.
I looked at the book and stuff as I do when I buy a car.
Yep.
And it had been in Bathurst and somewhere else in New South Wales. And when I lifted up the vinyl floor, because it's got vinyl floors, it did have a lot of like sort of brownish dirt, so it hadn't really been out back, but I suspected it might have been perhaps in a flood at some stage. But I checked the vehicle over, it's all good. It's like fresh water at least.
Yeah.
It's definitely got salt water because it's still got a chassis.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, it's just surprising to see a 2015 Troopy with only such low Ks on it.
I know.
You've got a fair bit to add to them, I think, mate. You're already trying.
Mate. So, the 76 without the high roof, that's going to be high soon.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why it's not here.
Oh, really?
Well, not because of that, actually. It is high already because I put 33s on it. But right now we're getting rock sliders made for it, like proper rock sliders. Yeah. My mate Luke at OTF's doing them.
Oh, yeah. Luke, from a friend of the show.
Yeah.
So did you say it's getting higher? You're not, are you?
Going to lift it.
Are you alluding to you chopping the roof of the 76?
No, as in like...
I thought he was going there. I was like...
You can though. They do
Yeah, well, I remember
really
you
nice.
talking to us about that and I was like, surely not.
No.
Sorry.
No, I'm not going to cut that tin can open. I'm going to raise it just so we can test the 35s because there's a few salty people, a lot of happy people, a lot of people, mentioning, hey, the towing test I'm talking about now.
Yep.
Whereas, I put my V8 on the 35s up against the 76 and, yes, it's got bigger tyres and all that stuff. But for me, it was my new car versus my first 70 series, my pride and joy, and it completely pantsed it,
Yeah, so I suppose that's what we were alluding to last week in your video recently. It did all right for us. The people wanted to hear about it and then they got to see how that behaved. So it went well.
It went well.
Yeah.
It went extremely well. And I just put 33s on it. I just came back from Busselton.
Yep.
And I'd done 555 Ks. That's adding the 3% because the tyres are bigger. So the speedo's out by... So at 100 Ks per hour, it's out by 3 Ks.
Yeah,
so it's 103.
Mine, yeah.
Yeah, so cruise control was set to 99. 100, yeah. I did 110 zone as well for most of the way, and it did incredibly well in fuel. 11.7 with a headwind, and on the way back I had a crosswind.
Yeah, right.
Like, pretty nasty crosswind. Actually, I was, it moved a lot because it's still pretty light. So lift soon, and then we're going to test with 35s, and I'm going to put that caravan on, and I'm going to see if it can actually handle 100 Ks per hour up that same hill.
Same thing, yeah.
Just to see if it can do it.
Yep. No, it was interesting. I obviously the 76 was at work, so that's your run around at the moment. But I knew it would be in the shop when I didn't see it here, and it's exciting because, like we say, we've been following the journey a little bit on here and growing with the car and yourself and your relationship with it, which is going swimmingly.
I know. We've gone off to a good start.
It's exciting.
I didn't think it was going to be that long a relationship.
It wasn't love at first sight, but it's growing. We're going to the new cars of 2024 now. It's been probably done to death. We've spoken about a couple of these vehicles on here before as well.
Oh, there's some new ones though.
There is some new ones.
There's some fresh ones. Yeah.
So the way we're going today is it's a little bit more of your your stock standard, your popular brands, the cars that have done well for a long time, and they will continue to do well. So when we're talking about today's program, we're talking about the Prado, the Ranger, the Hilux, the Triton, which because of our big Triton following, we're going to cover that, and the D-Max, plus a little bit on the 70 series, which we've had to go at.
Yeah, and there's a particular one that has not been in Australia for a while in the form of four-wheel drive, which is quite cool.
Yes.
And then there's one that's got a few extra doors.
Yes. Yeah. So there's I'm calling them the exotics. So these are exotics. Twice I whistled at you. Sorry.
The exotics, the people, it's a bit like exotics. You mean like a Land Rover, like you buy a Land Rover if you're like you only buy one if you're.
Yeah, I'm talking like your Grenadier, your different ones out there, the Jimny, the Tank, which is not, we don't know a whole lot about, the Tank 500, which I thought there's a Tank 300, didn't know there's a Tank 500.
Yeah, so the 300 looks like the Jeep Wrangler. It's like I think it's like a rip-off of the Jeep Wrangler.
A rip-off?
Well, that's what I call it. And then the 500 is supposed to rival the Prado.
Yep.
So it's like the affordable Prado, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, without the Toyota tax.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know enough about that one, but I reckon that will be one to talk about a bit later because it actually looks like that particular car is going to make a bit of a movement in Australia.
All right. Well, off the top of your head, actually, let's go back and forth and have a game. Okay. So none of the ones that we've got today coming up.
Is this like with wheel nuts or?
No. This is we have to. So you have to say like a car, a four-wheel drive. Okay. That we may cover in a future episode. So none of the ones that we're covering today. So no Prado, Ranger, Hilux, Triton, D-Max, or 70 series. Oh. So anything that I haven't mentioned, you need to mention, and I'll go one for one and see who loses.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
So whoever runs out first.
Okay. Tundra, Toyota Tundra.
I'll go the Tank.
What, the 500 or the 300?
Both. I'll be here all day.
You got two now. 5-door Jimny.
The new Volkswagen we're not covering today, so that's going to go in.
Oh, actually, I do want to talk about the 5-door Jimny, so I can't have that one.
What, today? No, you can have that because that's not part of my run sheet.
Oh, part of your run sheet?
Yeah, part of my run sheet.
The new Jeep Wrangler.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's still a JL though, but it's got a facelift.
Yep.
We'll talk about that.
That counts. What was I thinking of before? Oh, no. Losing my own game. There's heaps out there. Navara.
Oh, Navara. What about the Pajero?
Yep.
Is there a new one coming out? Is there? I don't know.
I don't know. Grenadier?
Just threw that one at you.
They're making new ones. Right.
So Grenadier, I think we need to test drive that one.
Yeah.
I think you need to test drive it.
Yeah,
I've driven one, but I'd really like your opinion on it.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a different car. It's such a different concept. And I think I can get my hands on one. So for that, I think it needs like an in-depth sort of talk about it, a bit like we do with a 70 series. Yeah. There's enough to cover multiple episodes on that car. But we'll try and get it in one.
Yep.
Yeah. With a test drive.
It's your go still.
I was buying time there. I've got no others.
There's probably so many out. Play along with us. Tell us what you're into, what you're looking forward to coming out. But for now, we're going to cover a couple of those mainstream sort of brands, if you want to call it that. And mate, just give us a bit of info that whatever you've got on them, you mightn't have a lot. I might give you a bit of a feel on how they look, and Jaden can chime in too because he's actually done quite a bit of research on these cars. So we'll start off the new Prado 250.
Yes, the new Prado 250. I'm very excited about that one.
Yep, and it's always going to be compared to the 150 model. Yep. So we can do that, but I'd like to get your thoughts on how you think the 250 will go as on its own in the market. Not knowing the exact price on what it's going to be, I think it is listed, but I know if we could find the price, that's going to factor in here. But I reckon it's going to be a very, very popular car. Yeah, expecting between 70 and 85K, and I'm not sure if that's sort of excluding the government charges and all that. That might be drive away, but Jaden might have something to add there. But there's a couple of different variants. They're quite expensive. So you have your base model, you have like your GXL, you have probably your VX and all that as well. Yep. And
at some stage, the headlights and the whole front end changes the look of it. So it's the same shape, but it changes the look of the car,
yep.
which is quite bizarre, I think, to do that, which is pretty cool though.
Yeah, they look awesome.
And I think that's going to cause people, because people buy cars because of colours, people buy cars because of looks.
Yep.
So I reckon some people might spend less to get that look, and others will spend more than they want to get the other look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they look so different.
Between the models, you're saying?
Yeah, well, it's still this 250. It's just one's a GXL, one's something else.
Okay, and there's quite a difference between the
front end. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And look, there will be a tech difference in them as well.
Oh yeah, so I'm looking at a couple of different ones here. I didn't even notice until you said that, but some of them actually look quite like a 70 series front end on the new ones a little bit.
Yeah, you reckon?
Well, that
I reckon it's sort of like a
video.
I reckon they're Americanized.
Very Americanized, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I get a little bit from the front of a new 70 series at the moment. A little bit boxy, like that.
I think it brings it back. Yeah, I think
that one there.
New 70 brings us kind of. Yeah, that's it. I think the new 70 kind of brings it back to the one before the VDJ. You know.
Oh righto.
Just that shape on the front with the big, that massive indicator light. You know.
Yeah. they're a nice looking vehicle. Like I don't know what their off road capability is going to be like though. Are they going to be?
I think it'll be like it should be like a Prado.
Okay.
Really. I mean, there'll be more tech in it. It's got a 48 volt battery, which is very exciting. Now, it's not going to, all that battery does, it doesn't give you more power or anything. All it does, it runs the vehicle when the engine's turned off, something like that. So it's probably got one of these things where it turns the engine on and off. So it's not going to be idling down a hill. The battery's going to take over. So it's going to cut in and out, which is a bit weird.
Right.
But obviously they wouldn't bring out something that's not going to work, you'd think.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like a lot of research
yeah.
would have been done in this. But what I'm excited about, I don't care about that at all. What I'm more excited about is the 48 volts. And I think we spoke about this before, because your roof solar panel runs on 48 volt. And when it comes to wiring your vehicle, when you're using 12 volt, your wires, your gauge of your wires is going to be so freaking big, the more amps you want to push through it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to 48 volts, well, the wires are going to be considerably thinner compared to the 12 volt.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Yeah, it's interesting that part. It's not, I don't understand a lot about that, but I'm sure there's people out there that do, and then there hopefully will be some people that learn from something like that and can look a little bit further into it.
Yeah.
Because it's a really nice looking vehicle. It's got the same power and torque as the 150, so there hasn't been a lot of change there.
So that battery's not going to do anything in torque or anything, which is a bit weird, I've got to say. Like you think that would do something there, but
would help. Like you're saying, you think it would help the engine sort of.
Yeah. Well, it helps the fuel economy, but I kind of suspect that they've done this. Now, I'm just spitballing here. I reckon they've done this because of emissions.
Right.
So that way they can prolong the life of the 2.8 litre diesel to stay within emission standards. Because imagine if you are so close to being at a point where, oh crap, we can't make this engine anymore.
Yep.
We have to do something. So if you add a 48 volt, that can just do that, and you can prove it.
Yeah, okay.
If it does it, then you get it over the line. It's a bit like the safety stuff.
Yeah,
people
right.
put a seatbelt beeper in and get an extra point or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I probably should touch on the specs a little bit. So it is the 2.8 litre turbo diesel.
Yes.
Which is what the current Prado is, with the current 70 series also taking, or the new 70 series 2.8 litre. 8-speed auto.
That is the change though.
That's the change from the 150.
That's the change.
Yeah.
The gearbox. So that'll be really interesting. 8 gears. That's a lot of gears. So
3,500 towing capacity, kilo towing capacity.
So that's the same as the new 70.
Yep.
It's, the V8 or the 2.8. It's the same.
Yep.
3.5 tonne. I don't think you can actually exceed that towing capacity on a car. I think that's the actual ceiling for a car categorised as in that field. Like a, what do you call them? Like a small car, I guess you call it.
Yeah. That's a small car.
Well,
or like a, without being
it's not an American truck.
Light headed or something, yeah. The interesting part though is it's the same, producing the same power and torque, but it is slightly bigger length, width and height than the old 150. So it's moving a bigger car with the same amount of power, I suppose.
Yeah, I wonder what it's going to do to the sales of the 300. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want. Yeah, it's actually didn't really touch on the 300s a lot at all. Like they just beautiful looking car, and
They are, but they're very expensive as well.
Very expensive.
So if you put that in, you know, I don't think many people are going to go from a 150 Prado and then go up to a 300. They're going to go for the new Prado.
Yeah.
That's what I reckon.
Yeah. I would probably think that way too. You're not going to believe this. It's got a 1 mil higher ground clearance. That's how deep Jaden's gone into having a look at these. 1 mil. So she's riding higher.
How good's that though?
I can't believe that. I can't believe they've actually put that in there.
It's a full mil.
In their specs, a full mil.
One spin of the tyres, you'll be down to the same.
What's the updated interior? 2 12.3-inch screens instead of the 9-inch screen in the 150.
Two.
I don't know where they're putting the second one.
Maybe like a flip down one. But is that in a certain model?
Probably in it, maybe. Yeah.
But speaking of the whole 48 volt and the 2.8, I mean the Hilux is coming up with the same setup.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's maybe jump to the Hilux then.
And the Hilux has been made wider as well.
While we're on Toyota,
already.
yeah. So that's the new Toyota Hilux, the 48 volt hybrid, which we have touched on.
Yeah.
So it's the same. Is it going to be the same as the Prado 250?
It's going to have the same engine specs and everything.
Same engine specs as.
I believe the gearbox is also going to be an 8-speed.
Yep. Okay.
It'll have to be.
And
So
it's only in the SR5 and the Rogue.
Oh, is it?
models.
Okay, so the other ones, the SR then will have.
Oh, it's
have
an
a
option
6-speed.
for the SR. Sorry. So it must
Right.
come standard in the SR5 and Rogue.
Is that just the gearbox or the battery as well?
So they're adding an electrified powertrain. So
Okay.
that's what's being added. I probably should have disclaimed that.
and they don't want to call it. They don't want to call it hybrid.
They don't.
No.
Well, they're just going to call it a Hilux.
No, they're calling it. They're calling it a 2.8 litre turbo diesel with a generator that runs a battery.
It's getting a bit technical for me.
It's technically not a hybrid.
I don't-
Apparently, it's not like a Prius or anything.
Sounds like one.
Yeah,
Sounds exactly like one.
well, yeah, but the battery doesn't really run the car. That's the thing.
Yeah, okay.
It's only going to like save the fuel a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't really get it, but the thing that I'm excited about is the 48 volt power. You know,
You're quite optimistic about this setup, aren't you?
well, for people who want to travel, 4-wheel drive, camping, overlanding, touring.
Yep.
Touring's probably the correct term in Australia. It's going to make it so much easier.
Yeah, okay.
Like you'd be able to run inverters off that kind of power easier than setting up for a 12 volt power system.
Yep.
It's just, yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. And like we mentioned before, it'd be good to get someone electric, like Jamie.
Yep.
Be good to get him on to. I've still got to pick his brain. I want to ask him about this.
Yeah, okay.
But I reckon we're going to see a big shift in if these cars stay popular and keep going as they are, 48 volt, I reckon you just watch the accessory world, it's going to explode with different options.
Yeah, okay. Righto.
There will be people that will have a converter to bring it from 48 down to 12, I bet you. But I wouldn't do that. I would go 48 volt.
Yep. So I'm going to dumb it down a bit here, and this is to help me understand it. So a 48 volt battery system in the new Hilux standard, if I'm plugging my fridge in, like is it that sort of style? Like is it the outlets that the car for the accessories, or is it actually this is because it says here it's supposed to improve fuel efficiency by 5%, but I just don't. If it's not a Prius and it's not a hybrid car, then I don't understand
So
how it's doing that.
yeah, but it's just improving by 5%, and that's why I think it's just a number to trying to get across the board. But I also think they're kind of like maybe like just seeing where this tech goes, or maybe they're not telling us about what else is coming later. So maybe that's what they're working on, and maybe later models might have something better, because it does seem a bit strange to bring out 48 volts if all it's going to do is save fuel 5%.
Yep.
It kind of sounds a bit ridiculous, but maybe they're sort of just this must be the start of something, right?
Yeah, okay.
And I'm not just saying as in like it's going to progress to something because it's coming out. It's more like I think they have a plan to bring something else out.
Righto. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But to
Not
plug
understanding really, but
yeah, but to answer the question to plug your fridge in, it's probably not going to work unless they have something that converts it down to 24 or 12.
That's what I don't understand. I'm like,
If they're running off that battery though.
Yeah.
I don't know how that system works, But if that's the case, they would have to do something because they're going to have USB chargers, right?
Yeah.
So they would have some kind of conversion so it does come down to 12 volt. And most fridges, they can run off 24 and 12 volt. I'm not sure about 48. There's probably something that can run off 48.
Well, this is where we get back to the rookie and the expert because like I'm way out of my league even asking questions about this because I don't understand any of that electric stuff at all.
Yeah, it's speculating about this until I need to see the car.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When I get my hands on one of those Prados, I'm not just looking for a test drive.
Yeah.
I want to start opening panels and having a look.
See what's in there.
I want to see how it's set up.
Yep. It's interesting because Toyota have released that, or they're releasing a fully electric car, the BZ4X, and that's soon. So it's got two models, a single motor and a dual motor all-wheel drive with an off-road mode, fully electric.
Yeah.
So that might be like what you're saying, a little bit of the what's to come sort of style that Toyota are starting to enter into.
Yeah, I think that's the full electric's going to be your city go. It's not going to be an off-road car.
Nah, it won't be. But maybe it's a bit of a...
Yeah, like maybe like a stepping stone, right?
Yeah, to see if there is that... Like it sounds like it's going that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't think there's much of a space for it, do we?
Not in Australia.
No,
Australia is not a place where you can run electric cars, I don't think. Like not yet. Around a city, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's just... I just don't like. Imagine being out in the bush and your battery's running flat, you know. So my sister lives out in the country, out near Wongan Hills, and that's like 250 k's from Perth.
Yeah.
Now one of their neighbouring farmers has an electric car, and the idea was the range is good, you can get to Perth, but then you got to charge the car. Didn't realise how long it took to charge the car.
Yep.
And then if you forget to charge the car, you've got a power outage. Now you got to hang around.
Yeah.
You got to run a Jenny.
Yeah.
So now apparently there's a generator in the boot or something like that.
Yeah, right. I opened up the hood of a Tesla actually the other day. It's just so bizarre to see nothing.
Yeah.
It's like
it's a bit like a Porsche.
There's like a cavity. It's just like, where is everything?
Enough room for one suitcase.
I could have jumped in there. All right. I'm out of my depth there, so I don't want to harp on that too long. Jaden, unless there's anything else you want to add on that 48 volt hybrid, the Toyota Hilux, but
we need to get the hybrid.
Yeah, I think we need to get the hybrid. And we're working on getting cars to test drive as well.
But it's a hybrid.
Well, actually, I just found some information on that. So the reason Toyota isn't calling it a hybrid, so apparently a lot of people have been calling it a mild hybrid, and Toyota does not want to call it a mild hybrid because in the Toyota world, hybrid refers to a system where the engine and the electric motor can both propel the vehicle either together or independently, which is not the case for the electric motor for the 48 volt system.
Okay. So they're saying that the 48 volt system is not linked up to the driveline, which means... Oh, so now I understand what the battery's for. So you know how you have the automatic on-off of your car when you pull up to a traffic light and the car just turns off? Yeah. Oh, I can't stand that system.
Yeah, I turn that off all the time in my partner's car.
But I think Toyota are taking this to the next level. So as your car's coasting, the car switches off and it's going to run on the battery. Right. So the battery's going to keep the car alive. That's what I'm...
Yeah, so...
That's just... I'm speculating, I'm guessing, but I don't see it doing anything else.
Yeah, so it assists the diesel engine of the Hilux. It'll power the car's steering, pumps and fans, supports the fuel-saving stop-start operation, which I think is what you were just talking about.
Right.
Oh, okay. No, actually, no, the stop-start. So you know how you stopped at a traffic lights and then cars around you are just turning off?
Yeah.
That's the kind of function that I think it's supporting. Keeps the electrics going and handles climate control. So it'll just handle all the electrical stuff that are in your car. It's just going to be handling that. It won't be powering the actual drivetrain of the car or anything. It won't have anything to do with the powertrain or anything like that.
Okay, that makes it a bit clearer.
Does that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll just help with all the electrics and stuff, recharging it, storing the kinetic energy, recovering, like from braking.
Goodbye.
All that kind of stuff. You know that F1 style
kinetic
energy. Yeah. You like that, Ronny.
Goodbye.
You like that. Look at that. He likes it.
That's a great little
I like a bit of F1.
We're on, boys.
Thanks,
it's a good day.
So, in other words, when you run your aircon in your car, it's using more fuel.
Yes.
Because it's got to drive the belt more.
Yep.
So, this is going to assist in that.
There's your 5%.
So, it must be on a separate run thing.
Great. That's good.
There you go.
Thank you, Jaden. Let's see how
from
that goes.
Toyota, just one more thing.
Oh, please.
Sorry. They've confirmed it's 100%, not 99.8, 99.9, 100% suited to Australia's harsh conditions and customer demands. So they're basically putting out like 100% satisfaction rate for rough terrain, Australian conditions, that kind of thing. That's big.
There you
Ballsy.
go.
Is that big?
But yeah, it's pretty big, but it's pretty ballsy backing. But there are other companies out there that back a 10-year warranty, which I think is even more ballsy.
That is quite ballsy.
You know, imagine buying a car that hasn't really been proven, and then imagine all these cars, they fail after 5 years, and everyone's got a 10-year warranty.
Who does have the 10-year warranty? Is it
I think Mitsubishi.
Yeah, I reckon
I
Triton.
think it's Mitsubishi as well.
Yeah.
I'll Google it, but
whether
yeah.
it's a Triton or not.
Yeah, 10 year. But there's someone else, I think someone else does too.
It's interesting. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
The Triton. All right, let's go to the Ranger, my neck of the woods. The new Ranger, which is, as I was saying before we started, has grown on me immensely. I love the look of it now.
Yeah.
I think
Very American.
very American, the new ones, and I think it's taken out Australia's top-selling vehicle last year, 2023, narrowly beating the Hilux, which has been on top for the past 7 years.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, like we spoke about before, would be buying the Ranger because it looks really good.
Yeah, and they've gone like a bigger engine.
There is. You've got the V6 option now, which is huge. So 184 kilowatts of power, 600 newton meters of torque. And
they've got the V6 Raptor version as well, which
they've got the V6 petrol Raptor, the EcoBoost twin turbo. So that's 292 kilowatts and 583 newton meters of torque.
Yeah, so it's finally a car manufacturer's brought out a full drive with a V6 twin system, and no one else has done that. So they've kind of got that themselves. I mean, Toyota responded with the Rogue.
Yeah.
But it's just a Hilux with more Tupperware on it.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yep. Yeah. And then you've obviously got the bi-turbo 2-litre 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
That was also carried over from the...
With the
old
8-speed
Ranger.
now.
I believe that is an 8-speed gearbox, yeah.
When I test drove that one, the gearbox was kind of overheating in low range, which got me a little bit sort of...
I don't think they've been overly popular, but obviously the V6 coming out, and they look mint. They just... Like, that is a nice looking vehicle.
You could see yourself in that.
I can see myself in that.
I can tell.
I could see myself in that.
So what about your V8? Your V8?
No, I still can see myself in the 70 Series 2, the V8 style. But that is, for me at the moment, it's a pick of the bunch. I haven't driven one of these yet, so it's purely on the look of it, which I wasn't sure about at the start.
So what stage this year are we going to see a V8 Troopy and a Ranger, a new Ranger in your driveway?
Well, that depends on what Lauren wants to drive. If she has to get rid of the Tiguan, she can drive the Ranger, and I'll take the Troopy.
Just switch day to day.
Yeah, I have to teach Lauren the manual, and I'll probably have to go and get my license.
You're going to have to learn the manual as well, mate.
I need to just get my license, mate. Back off.
Just tell it. Just tell it. He's kind of saved himself, hasn't he?
Yeah. So I don't have much information on these. Like I said, I haven't driven one. You have.
Yeah.
And we've touched on your thoughts.
It was
on
pretty
these before,
impressive.
Yeah.
It was just that one thing.
Yeah.
It was just that one thing.
Was it too much? Because Ford are known as a little bit of a leader in the tech side. And I look into the interior of the new Ranger, and it is...
Oh, the interior is bloody
excellent. Nice.
It's nice. It is really nice. It was just... My main concern was that automatic gearbox was overheating. Like, it got like 1 bar from the red. So it was in the warning zone. I was like, all right, well, that's my low-range beach run done. I only went up a couple of times. And I had to go to low range because it kept getting bogged in high range. It was in one of those situations, despite what people say in the comments, but they're always going to say that unless you give them all the information, you know.
Yep.
But I had it in high range, and high range would actually be worse because it's working harder. It's going to heat it even more, right? Yep. But my concern was, imagine if you were towing a camper trailer on a beach, which I've done many, many times in low range, and this gearbox is already overheating. That gearbox is definitely going to need an aftermarket cooler.
Right.
No.
Is this on the...
there's no way it's going to be able to do it.
The 4-cylinder, the bi-turbo one.
the diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Righto.
Yeah. But I don't know both at the same gearbox?
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't dived real deep into them, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from that, that was the only thing. And I even think in the review video that I did, I think I even said that this will outsell the Hilux.
Yeah.
At some stage, and sure enough, it did.
Yeah. I'd love to. We don't have to touch much more on that. I think it's probably sort of making its own name and its way.
Yeah.
Like it started to take off, and I'd love to see, if you could please, for my own benefit, send some done up new Rangers, because they look wicked stock. So, Jaden, if you get those photos, please flick them through to me.
I will actually be taking that same Ranger out again soon, just for a quick little squiz.
Yep.
If we're in the area, I'll have to swing past. Mate.
Please do.
Yeah.
I'd love to have it. I'd love to just
But it's all done
play
up
on
now.
the iPad too. Oh, is it?
It's got all the one I test drove had the Rhino panels on it, because my mate from Rhino Hide.
Yep.
It's Mark's car. So now he's got the bigger tyres. He's got the roof rack on. It's mint. It's mint looking, and
Jaden just threw a tough one on here. This kind of looks like the one that would want to cruise up and down like the beach, like not on the sand, like on like Trig to Hillary's. So for our Victorian viewers, maybe down the St Kilda Esplanade sort of style.
Yeah,
big rims and
it's pretty shiny,
fancy lights. Yeah, it's shiny stuff.
No bull bar.
I wish that's why have you put this one in here?
I googled it, and this is what came up.
Fair enough. I like it. It looks good.
There's no pleasing you.
There's 20-inch rims on it though. That's I'm not even going to show Ronnie.
Actually,
Have you?
That's the thing, right?
Apparently, that's a thing now. Is people are putting bigger rims on their full drives.
Oh.
Yeah, but they don't take them off road.
No, exactly. But like, what's the point?
Because they want them to look cool. It's like dressing up a sedan, I guess.
I thought you were going to say
I don't like it. I like it. Do you guys remember when there were people driving around in lowered Hiluxes?
Yeah.
I passed one on the freeway a few years ago, and I blotted out the window on it. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I saw one of those Rangers in Busselton.
We're pretty welcoming here.
Yeah. We still love you.
Yes.
So one of those Rangers, I saw one in Busselton just the other day. He had either lined the whole thing with like Line-X or Raptor liner or something, or he had put a wrap on it that was textured. Yeah.
Like what sort of...
The whole car was textured. The whole thing. Everything on the car.
When you say textured, like...
Like the paintwork.
Oh.
Like there was no paintwork.
Right.
It was textured. And I don't think it was wrap. You can get wrap that's textured, but I reckon he'd gone to town and covered the whole car.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't a business car either. It's not just...
Yeah.
You took like a Raptor coating on your car kind of thing, like that with the bumps and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't mind that.
Like the tub liner. Yeah, but it never comes off.
No, but you'll never scratch your car.
That's true. That's true.
You'd never worry about a stick.
It's a big commitment though.
It's a huge... Yeah, but like if you've got like a 50-year-old car...
Oh yeah, a 50-year-old car. Why not? This is a brand new Ranger.
Why not?
Why not?
You just got to ask yourself. Why not?
Better than 20-inch wheels.
Jeez.
I'm coming undone here.
I like the idea of having like a little... If people want to send in their worst like four-wheel drive photos or their worst looking cars, the worst mods.
The worst mods.
I would love to go through the messages on Instagram or emails or whatever and just look at some horrible modded four-wheel drives. You did a video, Ronnie, didn't you? Sorry.
Off track. I did a couple, worst mods, yeah.
There's things you should never do to your four-wheel drive.
There's some bad ones out there.
We're just we're just asking for like funny looking cars though, aren't we?
Yeah.
Just want to see.
Just want to see funny cars.
Have you had a bit of fun with designing your car?
You know what I like to see? You know Mr. Bean's car, you know that little... It's blue, isn't it? Is it blue? Or is it red?
It's green.
Green,
it's green.
I thought, yeah.
Oh,
the little three-wheeler thing.
Yeah.
So I thought it was blue. Anyway,
could be.
That car, can you imagine that on like big off-road tyres?
No. Yes, I can.
I can't.
I showed you guys that Toyota Corolla that was lifted.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was pretty cool. I'd love to see the Mr. Bean one.
Yeah, Mr. Bean one would be cool.
Send in your photos.
Bean. All right.
Can you find me one on car sales?
I bet you I can't. I'm good, but I'm not that good.
All right, back on track, boys. Come on.
Let's go to the Triton because we've got a big Triton following.
Okay.
And we've been asked to report more on the Triton, and we've probably spoken down to the Triton a little bit.
Have we?
Yeah, we have. I'm going to say that we have. I feel like we've sort of not laughed it off, but I feel like neither of us, in fairness, don't know a lot about them. Never owned one, or I haven't really sort of
10-year warranty, and you can't frighten a Triton.
There's a great marketing strategy behind the Triton, which we must.
I actually found some stuff on the warranties.
Yep.
Mitsubishi's the only one that offers 10 years.
Yeah.
But
it's huge.
It's not 10 years unlimited kilometres. It's 10 years or 200,000 kilometres.
200,000 is still decent.
But you're getting more than... You would get more than 200,000 kilometres
well,
in
I've
10
done
years.
170 in mine. I've bought it in 2017, and I've been over east twice, Broome 3-4 times in it, and I love driving. I just get in the car and drive.
But as a daily, do you drive? Like, how many Ks would you do on a daily basis?
Like, to work and back would be 30 Ks, so not far, a round trip.
Yeah, so 200,000 Ks is not going to take. I think most people would have that done in 6 years.
You reckon?
I reckon, yeah. A lot of people commute pretty far to work.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially,
I'm pretty lucky.
Especially in Australia.
Yeah. I still feel like 200,000 is pretty generous.
Yeah.
I
guess it's pretty... Yeah.
What is it? It's 20,000 Ks a year? Is that...
Yeah.
20,000 Ks a year? That's all you have
Something
to do.
like that.
Yeah, I suppose
I think,
break it down like that.
I think if I said 250,000, it sounds better for the advertising campaign.
Yeah.
Thank me for that one later, Triton.
Yeah. That's backing themselves though. Like 200,000 in a car is that's quite... a lot of people are offloading before they get to 200,000 to...
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you can actually pay at other dealerships, other brands. You can pay for the extra kilometres, extend the warranty.
Yeah.
Depends on where you go there. But then what are you doing with the car? Like, for people like us, the warranty goes out the window.
Yeah, as soon as you start loading it up.
Unless they're being reasonable, but then you got to be reasonable as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, it's a decent...
When you look on car sales,
deal.
Sorry, this is the last thing, and then I'll shut up. When you look on car sales, what's like, you put in the max kilometres that you want to see, or like the minimum, whatever. What do you put in?
With so for instance, with a
like highest Ks you'll buy
with the landcruiser, like a V8 landcruiser, or
I'm about to blow out.
You've just lost.
4WD podcast, driven my shelter. He's got another ear. Look at this. Oh, that's funny.
I'm not
cutting that out. That can stay.
No, that's good.
My bit from earlier is
you can still hear me. So as you're figuring that out,
but now it's coming from this side.
Yeah. Hello, I'm over here.
Do you want me to get the piece?
That's all right. That's all right.
Figured it out.
Are you
I don't
sure?
know where it went.
I'll keep going on the lefty.
Where did it go? And it doesn't matter.
Rolled that way.
What's your max? Because obviously a V8 Land Cruiser, it doesn't really matter.
200,000 probably on that Land Cruiser, because it doesn't worry me where they're at really. Like 200,000 is the max that you can scroll to. You can type in.
Oh, is that the max you can scroll to?
It's the max you can scroll to. You can manually type in if you really wanted to go up further, but
the max
once you scroll, 200 is the max. So I just put it up to that for that, because I backed that car. For something like the modern day Ute, I would probably, to be honest, I don't really want to buy one that's over 100,000 Ks.
Can I just go back to your 200,000?
Yep.
What? Okay, you're talking about Land Cruiser.
Yep.
So you would go to 200,000.
Yep.
What if it was a Hilux with a 2.8 litre engine?
Toyota, I will back in a bit more than any other brand.
All right.
So I would happily buy a Hilux, like old LM105 Hilux.
Yeah.
Because I back in, even if it's done, 250, 300, making like, if it was the right price, like I'm not paying like a lot for that, but I'd back Toyota in more than yeah, you still pay a fair bit, but I'd back Toyota in more than I would back in even probably a Ford.
Okay.
Even though I love my Ford and haven't had big issues with it.
So you say 100,000 is your blanket limit
for a modern day Ute? Like I'm talking sort of, when I'm talking modern day, like there's the Rangers, there's the PX Rangers at 2012 model that are similar to mine. If I'm buying a new Ute, I don't want anything that's done more than what mine has already, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where I sort of draw that line, which is getting a bit weird and people mightn't be following. But I don't want a new ute that's done more than 100,000, really.
Yeah, I'll get that. And I'll be the same.
Hilux would be the exception, probably.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. So that,
right?
that's why I say for a Triton, like I feel like a lot of people would be getting rid of a Triton, not because it was a bad car, because they're updating around that 200,000 mark anyway. So it's like the whole time you've got that potentially. It's, you know, it mightn't be 10 years that you have it. It might be 6 years, but you're at 178,000 Ks. And if you haven't touched it, you're still under that warranty, and I'd probably be wanting to get rid of it anyway.
I wonder if there's a stat out there. How often do people cycle through a car? Like, I would guess it'll be 5 years.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting one to find out, actually.
I think that's when people trade in.
Yeah.
After 5 years.
It's probably something that we should have spoken about at the start of this episode, because why do you need a new car? Like, these are all great examples of modern day vehicles that are tried and tested through time. But
it's an interesting time we're in at the moment, because if you buy a new car, they're hard to get, right? So, and all the car manufacturers have worked that out. So demand is high, supply is low. They've crept the price up.
Yeah.
I mean, that $10,000 since COVID, everyone's jacked their price up, at least, I reckon. And that's brought the used car market up. So you got this, you kind of got to look at a used car. Okay, that costs $50,000, but the car I'm looking at costs $50,000, say $60,000 brand new. But then if you add your stamp duty on top of the $50,000 car, you're almost up to $60,000.
Yeah.
So you might as well buy the new car. But wait, you got to wait a year.
Yeah.
You got to wait 18 months.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting.
Yeah. It's not just simply I'm going to buy a used car for around this price.
Yeah.
It's like, hang on a second. Especially when you're talking Toyotas, because you're like, well, I can get a brand new 70 series for this much, but this second-hand one that's got nearly 200,000 Ks on it, it's got all this fruit on it, but what, it's an interesting time.
Yeah, another thing that I would have covered at the end, I reckon, is how much does a wait time factor into the vehicle you're buying, which you've touched on there, which is awesome. But there's probably a few big ticket items when if you're in the market for one of these cars, which we'll keep going on the Triton. We got carried away with the warranty and where that took us, but it is interesting when you equate everything, and it's sort of, where does it sit for wait times and what you're paying new, used. It's just a different time in the car market.
And how many people do you reckon will go, I want the Ranger, but I can't get that, but I can get a Triton.
Yeah.
So I'll go to Triton. Yep. I reckon that's happened a lot.
I think the BT50 is one that we haven't spoken about. A lot of people that wanted the Ranger couldn't quite get their hands on one of those, went to the BT50.
Yeah.
They were the same engine basically, and you didn't pay for the price tag of a Ford badge. You see some really nice BT50s floating around the place, done up, because there's a little bit more left over to actually spend on the accessories rather than
for sure
going all out and buying the Ranger.
And then nowadays it's Isuzu and BT50,
right? Doing like the
I think
the crossover. Yeah. Well, I thought Isuzu was more the Holden.
Well, they were.
They were. They've changed, have they? Okay. They've stopped making Colorados.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But let's go
to the Triton.
Let's go back to the Triton.
We're
not avoiding.
I think that was a good chat though. Like it's quite interesting.
Just kidding.
I do have more. So the average age of a vehicle in Australia is 10.5 years.
Oh, okay.
Is that the changeover?
Wow. 10.5. Well, that's the average age of a vehicle on Australian roads is 10.5 years. So you can kind of correlate what you need from that.
Yep.
Okay.
But there's an interesting little stat that more than 50% of drivers killed in WA roads were in vehicles 10 years or older.
Right.
Which it kind of makes sense, right? Like the safety standards are coming up in the new as the years go on, and but 50% or more than 50% of drivers killed in WA were driving older cars. So it almost is worth it to get a newer car
to update when times are right. Sort of
Well, it's funny you should bring that up, because my mate Harry, Harry Five Fork, he bought his Prado because of the safety of his 80 series, because he had a couple of friends that died in an 80 series.
Right.
And they had the exact same car, right? So, they had a baby on the way. So that's why he bought a Prado. So yeah, of course safety matters, but you got to weight it up. So are you someone who's got a family, or are you just sort of heading out bush in this particular car? So it's up to the individual, really.
Yeah. Well, 10.5 years surprises me though.
That really surprises me.
I feel like a lot of people that I know would update more regularly than that, but I suppose that's just,
I mean, it's the average, right? So some people will update it really regularly and some people won't, and it's like the average of all of that. But the experts say that the number needs to be halved.
Oh, okay.
If there's going to be less deaths on the road.
Right. Interesting.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
The Triton.
It's bigger, it's badder than the older model, and they've collaborated with TJM to release 46 custom-made accessories alongside the car.
I heard about this.
Which, that's unique.
It's taken the same line as Ford. The Ranger, they're working with ARB, and they've accommodated so they can fit all different ARB accessories in there, which I think is cool. And
does it limit you, though, to...
No.
Okay.
No, because you put anything else in that you want.
Yep.
But what it does allow you to do is you get the car brand new, and if you can afford to buy all these other things, the car gets released with it, and now you get warranty on everything.
Yep.
So I wonder if it's limited warranty for Triton, Voice Beyond, does that extend to the TJM accessories?
Yeah, right. That have been aligned with the car already.
Yeah.
Not extras yet.
To say if you buy it with that. But then maybe they're not selling them with it. They've just made it working with TJM.
Yeah.
They don't have to sell it because why would they work with them?
Yeah. Well, it looks like it's a nice looking vehicle. It's got quite a deep front bumper though.
Can you spin that around?
Which is interesting. Yeah. Like, look how deep that front bumper goes.
Oh, wow. So that is very different because I have not looked at that car at all. It doesn't even look like a Triton that I know as a Triton.
Nah.
Interesting.
It's kind of, again, it's probably squared up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like they've all gone to the same AI program.
Looks a bit like a D-Max, to be honest, for anyone out there wondering. But they're certified to tow 3.5 now, which is 400 up from the old one.
Yeah.
So that's come up to match the Ranger and the Hilux and the Amarok. The larger diameter, you'll understand this, I'm just reading off a sheet here. Larger diameter dampers, which have 20 mil more front suspension due to a higher upper mount for the double wishbone suspension. Bang! Did you know what that meant?
That was good. That was very good.
That was your stuff. I'm just reading out your messages.
Very off-roady.
470 newton meters of torque, which Jaden tells me is up from the Hilux.
No.
Okay. Jaden told me that.
30
It's like 30 less.
30 less.
It's 30 less than the new Prado.
The new one. Yeah.
30 less.
Yeah. All right. So it's not far off.
Well, no, it's 30 less than the current Hilux that's being released.
No, sorry, it's 30 less than the new Prado. The
2.8 litres.
I'm lost.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Caused a lot of confusion there. Anyway, it looks like a decent buy. I think they've made some nice changes to probably. I don't want to say catch up because I don't know if they were
same
behind.
Motor as before? Is it a 2.4?
Yes, twin turbo instead of single turbo. So that's what brings the power levels 150 kilowatts, which is the same as the Hilux. Maybe that's what
the power's the same, but the
torque's down a bit.
Yeah, the torque's down.
Okay, that's the ballsiest thing I've ever heard.
Is it?
Yeah.
See, I just read that as...
It's a single turbo motor, 2.4, that was designed with. They got 10-year warranty, 200,000 K warranty.
I was in you talking the previous model.
Yeah. And now they've put a second turbo on it. They've obviously done some mods to the motor since the other one, but I think that's pretty ballsy.
Right.
So they're pushing the engine more to get up to close to the Hilux and the Ranger and that.
Right.
But it's a 2.4 and they're putting an extra turbo on it and that's a ballsy move.
In a good way? Or do you think it's risky?
Well, it's good for the customer.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe not if you're in the middle of nowhere and it does go kabang, but I mean, it's a ballsy move, so I think they obviously put trust into what they've done.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think it looks, as a person who's sort of driving a modern ute, and it would be in the question a lot more now, looking at just how it looks from just taking it on face value, and then a couple of the changes that they've made. I think it brings it back up to, it brings it into the equation. I would have thought.
Yeah, it definitely brings it into the equation.
Especially with the price point.
Yeah, Yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Is the price point, and the second thing, the 10-year warranty, and the third thing, working with a 4-wheel drive, accessory brand,
yeah,
a well-known one, that's worldwide known as well. So I think as an off-road sort of side of things, they're not shying from off-road, and whatever done on the front end, the stuff you're reading out, like, I don't quite comprehend it 100%, but it just sounds to me like they've got some tougher stuff on the front there to handle suspension. But most people who are going to have this car, they're going to modify it and they're probably going to change it out.
Yeah.
But the suspension, that could be TGM suspension that they're working with, because what was it, 45 items you were saying?
It was 46, yeah.
46?
45, 46, I think it was.
Interesting.
Yep. Custom made, yep.
But adding the turbo to the car to bring it up, that's a ballsy move.
Yep, I like it. I don't mind that from Mitsubishi.
Yeah, well,
hopefully this holds up.
They're still offering the 10-year warranty. TGM offers a 3-year or 100,000 kilometer warranty
on accessories.
Yeah, for whenever you purchase a new product from TGM, it's basically warranted for 3 years or 100,000 Ks, whichever comes first.
Yeah, righto.
So I don't know whether, I doubt TGM is going to be like, here's a 10-year warranty because Mitsubishi offers it.
That's separate to, obviously.
Yeah, that's a separate.
Yeah, that's their
so
own.
TGM on its own offers a 3-year warranty or 100,000 K warranty.
Oh, so on its own, but not through the dealership.
No, not through the dealership.
So I wonder what it's like through the dealership.
I doubt it's going to be. I don't think they're going to. It'll probably be the same.
It'd have to be connected to the Triton, wouldn't it? It'd have to be Mitsubishi's thing, I would have thought.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah.
Just, the fine print in the bottom will tell you.
Read it.
When
it's
going to be add the accessories. There's a special accessories on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
No, I like it.
If TGM's offering a 10-year warranty on their products, but only through a Mitsubishi dealer, and only with the new Triton,
it's probably less risk, right?
It would just be what comes standard on that Triton.
But that'd be more risk for Mitsubishi if they're replacing the parts through TGM. They're going to be spending a lot of money.
Gotcha.
Yeah, interesting thing that most people don't actually know. There's a law. There's a law about if you provide an item, like say if you made let's just say 4-drive accessory item, and you give it 1-year warranty. Well, tough shit, because you actually have to offer 3-year warranty.
Oh, it has to be 3 years.
It has to be 3-year warranty. Like you can actually contest it, because I only found this out for a camera store, because I'm not going to mention names here, but Mr. X bought something and it failed, and then he called the camera store. This is like 2 years later, and the guy goes, "Do you feel that the product failed after a reasonable time?" And he said, "No, I think it should have lasted longer. It's a Sony product."
Yep.
And then he said, "Well, okay, well then we will replace it under warranty." And he's like, "Oh, I thought it was only 1 year." And then he had the law explained to him by the shop itself.
Oh, right.
So credit to the shop.
Yeah, that is good by them.
Can't remember which shop it is, so that's the thing. But and then I looked into it more, and it's a thing. It's a thing. So if your laptop, whatever, only has a year, well, guess what? You got 3 years because you're in Australia.
Wow. There you go. A few people might be music to a couple of people's ears.
Yeah, might be picking up the phone.
yeah. Let's finish on the D-Max. So very popular car in Australia at the moment. Plenty on the road, plenty done up. Again, pretty robust and never really seems to fail too many people. It's a facelift. It looks a little bit different, as they all sort of are. They're all looking quite similar.
A little boxy?
It's a bit boxier. It's probably kept around, I'll give you a look, it's probably kept around a front end than some of the others.
Oh, yeah.
But still, I think it's going down that boxy line.
It looks the same as the previous, though.
You reckon?
Is that a re-release?
Actually, I'll get up what I've got on Google. No, I reckon it's changed up a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks very similar.
They haven't changed much.
They haven't changed a lot.
It's like a front end, wheels, tails.
Okay.
Interior's changed, but interior changes all the time with these cars.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a 24-inch iPad in there.
You got to keep up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit like the Jeep Wrangler. It's the same thing. It's still a JL, but they've just updated the front.
Yeah. Well, here's some things for the D-Max. So allegedly no new power upgrades, 6 to 12 month wait time. Price has gone up a couple thou.
When you say power upgrades in like what it can produce?
Yeah, well, there's no. Yeah, I think it's producing like there's been no sort of.
Oh, I haven't specified what it is yet.
Well, it's
the
no
same
new power upgrades, same
engine.
engine, same.
Yeah, okay.
You're getting the same thing out of the.
Yeah, chuck another
D-Max
turbo on
before.
it.
Yeah, you could just chuck another turbo on like Mitsubishi. But apparently the changes are coming in the 2025 model.
Ah, okay.
With an electric D-Max on the cards.
Well, a full electric?
That's what it's saying.
No way.
So the full electric is a future plan, 26, 7, 8, something
Oh,
like
is that further on past
It's
25?
further on.
Yep.
So the 25 model is going to be a 2.2 litre turbo diesel.
Which they've got is it the choice of the 1.9 or the 3 litre at the moment in a D-Max?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, which is apparently the same as the old D-Max's 1.9 or 3 litre. The new one is a 2.2 litre turbo diesel.
So interesting. All the manufacturers are going down to like a 2.2, 2.4, 2.5, that kind of thing. It actually makes the 2.8 seem pretty big now for a four-cylinder anyway. It's
Well, after your towing test, it seems to be outperforming V8s.
yeah, with the right gearing, yeah.
And the tuned V8. What was your tune on your V8?
It's a tune. It's tuned for towing. It's not a stupid tune because it's got to be reliable. So it's boosting up to 2022. It's got like cooling upgrades. It's got like the whole intercooler upgrade. So it cools down really fast. It's really good at cooling. It's a good running car. It just couldn't do that with 35s, and there's not that much more weight added to it. There's no big canopy on it.
Do you have a 6-tune chip?
Yeah, I've got a five tune
tune.
map, and we didn't put this in the video, but I said to Harry, go to tune number 5 and see what you think. And he goes, "What the fuck's wrong with this thing?" I said, "Mate, that's the stock tune."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I can go back to stock tune anytime I want.
And it's like
Oh, mate, it's
gutless.
Yeah, especially with 35s.
Yeah.
Complete gutless, man. And it runs hotter too.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, like the tune I use is number 1, and that's my towing tune, and it's a good tune. It not towing, it gets off the mark quick. It would give that auto a run for its money. Put them up against each other on a drag strip.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sorry, boys. I've derailed it completely. We've gone too long. Well, not too long, but we've gone. We've
sorry, I
gone.
thought you were
Quite,
stopping
no,
us.
no, we've gone quite a long time. I know we're talking about this episode being a bit shorter, but
let's finish up on the D-Max. There's we've covered only a handful.
Yeah.
The Navara we didn't mention. The Amarok we didn't go to. There's a new Kia Tasman, so Kia are bringing out a Ute.
You know what?
Which could be interesting.
We need to talk about cars like that,
Yeah.
like completely separate.
Yeah.
And like separate from these. I mean, we can mention these other cars, but we should talk about what's that going to rival, because that Tank 500 is going to rival the Prado.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, so there's a couple out I don't know if we want to call the Kia and those sort of cars the exotics, but I think we
still.
need to look into the not so mainstream kind of buyers as well, because
but Kia's got a big stand in
absolutely,
in
Kia's
Australia.
huge at the moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the Ute, it looks like a Ford Ranger. Looks good.
So it might bring a whole different demographic
Check that
to
out.
full driving.
Look at that. So it's pretty nice.
And that's the Kia.
That's the Kia.
you know what it looks like.
Interesting.
You know those Rivian cars?
Oh yeah,
The electric Rivians? That's what
Yeah.
it looks like.
It does actually look, doesn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
What's going on there, Kia?
My old man used to be a bit of a Kia fan. But he just sold his Kia. He sold his Jeep, and he bought a Cherry.
He bought a what?
A Cherry.
No.
It's a Chinese brand car.
Oh, that. I thought like Cherry was maybe short for Cherokee. I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
now.
no,
Yeah, that did cross my
I-
mind as well at the start.
Yeah.
It's like they were nicknames
Gross.
in the Jeep family, but yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Right.
I didn't know what it was. I thought
Ute.
No. It's just a little sedan.
Just a set-
It's
that-
not.
that-
It's not a full driver. It's just a sedan. And
They have a Ute, don't they?
no.
No, they don't.
No. So he rolled up in this thing, and I thought it was a Kia because it looks like a Kia. And it actually, yeah. There's a lot of different cars coming out, and they're starting to make it into the full drive world.
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually did a trip with someone who drove a Sanyong Rexton.
Yep.
Like through Carragini,
I've seen
Pilbara,
them, yeah.
all that. red dirt and stuff. Not really like hectic stuff, but it made it onto the beach at Ningaloo and through some.
Did all right?
Yeah, it did all right. Like, mate, I popped a tyre, but no one else did.
That's down to your driving style.
4-wheel drive podcast driven by Shelter. All right, we got the cars out of the way.
Well, hang on. Before the cars are out of the way, which one do you pick out of all the ones we spoke about?
Ranger.
Okay.
Yep.
He's gone straight for the Ranger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out of those ones we covered today, Ranger for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully people found this helpful. Why?
Is it just because you're driving a Ranger? Do you like the new look of the Rangers? What about the Triton?
Probably part of it is because I drive a Ranger and I back it. I back forward in a little bit. I love the look of it. I think it looks the best out of the little list that we had today. But yeah, I like the V6 option.
That is a bloody good option. That's what I'll be driving if I wasn't.
Yeah, I love the sort of the wider profile that it sort of carries now.
They do look nice. Is it the Raptor's the
Raptor's the
petrol
big
V6,
petty engine?
right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd need to go that, but yeah, I love. They've got. So what Ranger have done is they've on the back tub they've put in. So for some reason they've made it like exactly a crate, like the big crates. Like a cargo crate that you would, the forklift to go on and grab. So they made it exactly that size, the pallet. Yeah, so it sort of fits. That's the size of the tub. And what they've also done is put a little section for you, so you can step up with your foot into the tub. And I just think things like that are just, I don't know, that's they've thought about this.
They've really hit the mark on the tradie market.
Yeah,
because a dual cab ute, tradies.
Yeah.
Every day of the week.
That's why I'm probably going that. But they all, like the D-Max especially, I like. The Hilux I'm always going to like, but everyone seems to like them. And then the Triton is something I've never thought about before, but seeing what they've done, I'm probably not going to go out and buy one if I was updating, but it's got to be looked at, I reckon.
It's an option on the table.
Yeah.
And like the price point.
Yeah.
Comparing to all the other vehicles.
Yeah. And like we haven't spoken about the Navaras and Amaroks and all that sort of stuff too. All good cars. So we've left some out on the table too. What are you going from our list today?
Look, I'd definitely if I wasn't such a landcruiser fanboy, I would probably go a V6 Ranger.
Yep.
And then put a jet ski on the back of it. No. I don't know. Maybe a Triton and then put this 10-year warranty to its full.
See how you go with it.
Like treat it like a Hilux from the old adverts.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Well, I mean, what would you go, Jaden? You did all the research on them. What sort of...
I don't know. No. I don't know if I want a ute again. Like I had a Hilux. I don't know.
So what you're telling me is you're going the 250 Prado off our list today?
I was looking at that, but I don't like the look of it.
Oh,
You've
really?
got to choose one, mate, from the list.
I think it looks awesome.
You really?
I do like it. I love the look of it.
Oh, so...
I just think 70 series look, style, why not get a 76 2.8 litre?
Wow. Did he just say that?
Yeah.
He just said that.
I feel like we've covered that.
Wow.
I'm going to delete that.
He was out there the other day and I asked him off, air, which is if someone had the V8 and a 2.8 right in front of you, which one would you take? He'd go, I have to go to V8. Now he's a changed man. He's a changed man.
Now all of a sudden the 2.8 litre 70 doesn't want you, mate.
What if...
I do like the Ford Ranger.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. To be honest.
Good call.
What if the Prado, the new Prado, what if the new Prado, that shape, looks a little bit more fancy, and it had a twin turbo 3.5 litre petrol V6? What would you say?
The new Prado.
Nah. I like it. Good change. But
okay, well, Lexus GX.
Ah. Yeah. Well, what are we paying for a Lexus, though?
Yeah, well, are you factoring money?
We're factoring money. It's none of them.
Yeah.
Well, before this fire goes out,
let's get to it. I've shut the laptop and handed them back to Jaden this week for around the tie pit.
Yeah, I did have a stern word with you after that, taking away.
Yeah. Anyway, I said I wasn't going to answer these questions because I had no idea and spoke the whole time. So answer my own questions that I had no idea about.
First question from 89 Dunn. Where do you stand on Holden Colorados? Duggo, go first.
Yeah, I've actually had... I've had like a little Holden deal before through my day job, and drove some Colorados over that time. And they were a good ute. They did exactly what I needed them to. I wasn't taking them off-road or anything because they were a dealer's car, so I didn't test them in that way. But
on record, you didn't.
Yeah. No. Grant knows I didn't.
Grant, he did. He showed me videos.
They were much more, if I compare them to a Ranger, they were much more truck-like, less power, heavier steering. And then I test drove a Ranger when I was sort of wanting my own car to do, kit it out and go forward driving and all that sort of stuff. I knew what the Colorado was like, so that was sort of what I was comparing it to. Got in the Ranger and it drove like a little sedan, 1 mil off the ground. Handled so much better, more power. This was in 2017.
So, which is the dark and the light side? Because you've literally gone Holden Ford here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we were Holdens going. I grew up in Holdens too. Not because Dad's not he's not at Bathurst every year with his Holden cap on, but we were always Holdens and loved them. And I did. Like the Colorado's a great vehicle. And now, so they've discontinued Colorados. Is that what you're telling me?
Since 2018.
2018.
Yes,
oh,
If
wow.
I'm correct on that, I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah,
since
okay.
2018.
No, they were good. They were a great car. Everything you need in a dual cab ute for me. I was driving the dual cab utes, and just comparing it to the Ranger.
2020, sorry.
2020 was it? Yeah, comparing it to the Ranger, I couldn't. But
they're the same as the Isuzu though back then.
They were back then.
Well, hang on, the one I'm thinking of,
yeah. So I sort of heard all that, but I just test drove the Ranger. I was just like, nah, this is it. And the Ranger had the bigger engine than the Hilux at the time, and the new Hilux at the time as well. So yeah, that's why I went that. But the Colorado was a good. I enjoyed it, and I'm still seeing some good examples on the road. Some really nice done-up Colorados, and the Rodeos are still going around too. So they've stood the test of time a bit themselves.
Yeah, it's the Rodeos that I'm more familiar with.
Yeah.
The Colorados, I've never driven one. I think I've only ever featured one on the modified program. So I don't know a lot about them, but essentially like a D-Max almost. But
yeah,
I've never actually driven a D-Max either.
Quite reliable from what I've heard. And like I said, I didn't test them out, but...
Especially if the Isuzu's behind the engine.
Yeah, it was nice enough to drive, so... Yeah. They don't have much more on them, though.
What do you guys think about the big American pickup trucks? We were at Optus Stadium the other day, parking underground for when we were working on BackChat with the Perth Scorchers, and parked under there. And you would know how tight the parking is under there. There's this big Chevy Silverado, half sticking out. Like you have to drive out and around it. It doesn't even fit in the bay. What's the point? Like unless you're towing, I get that they're good towing cars.
If there's purpose to having one, like say if you're carting big stuff around, like towing, gooseneck stuff, there's point in having them. But I do think a lot of them are just, too big.
Yeah. I love them because I love the look of them, and you get a big V8, and it's kind of I feel like not practical.
The big 350.
But they're just, I reckon they're cool.
Yeah.
If I was living in the country, I reckon you'd be half a chance.
Have like
for a bit of fun for a few years.
Have twin wheels and the,
Yeah. Big up truck. Tow truck.
Where we live in Perth, in the city.
Yeah.
Is that a reasonable car to be driving around?
No. You need a Mr. Bean car.
What about What about the size?
None of our cars are reasonable driving around, are they?
76 is.
What about the size of a Tundra or a 150 F-150? Bigger, but not.
Yeah, they're not too big, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think. There's place for them, but still not really in like some tight car bays are going to be a pain,
Yeah. Well, already though we make that decision around here. Like there's plenty of overheads. Well, I think we spoke about it last week. We're not getting under.
No.
So I have to park outside, or I take, luckily, fortunately, we have another car that we can fit under in. But
not if you get a Troopy or a Ranger.
I know.
Combine the both, you never fit anywhere, mate.
Neuron scooters around town now.
Yeah, that's true. We did cop a few of those.
We've got them around here. Yeah. Jade and I raced back here after the Chrissy party.
Who won? Hard to say.
Yeah, well, I left earlier, so I won.
Yeah.
You need 4 wheels in them ones.
We did go to different places.
Yeah.
Didn't race.
I don't know. I like them, but they're not that practical.
They're not that practical.
Nah.
And if you've got purpose for them. I could see a big car like that be practical for overlanding, touring, if you didn't go on the crazy tracks where you need clearance, because they're so bloody long. The overhang and the back overhang it's not practical for off-road tracks that are made by Land Cruisers and Land Rovers and all the other utes we spoke about. But if you're going to the same places where most caravans will be towed to, why not put a big home on wheels in the back of it? It will be easier to get around in a caravan. Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Another question, well, not a question, but a statement from Musa Brett. He says, and this is in regards to, we were talking a few weeks ago about V8 Toyotas and whether they have a future. Toyota sales to mining is only around 2% worldwide, so they're told at Toyota Technical Training. So only makes up 2% of the vehicles.
Wow. Yeah.
Which is a tiny number for the Toyotas that you see.
That's not much.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder what sort of like terms and agreements or contract they're running off. Like, even though it's a small amount, I wonder if it's a long, like, it's,
Yeah.
I think the interesting thing is that it's worldwide and not Australia.
Yeah, okay.
So in Australia must take up, I would assume, almost 2% of the worldwide.
2%, but of the 70 series, I'm pretty sure the 70 series, the take up in Australia is 20% worldwide for the 70 series. So I questioned the 2% thing.
Yeah. Well, apparently this is what they're told at Toyota Technical Training, and he's put it in brackets. So
yeah.
It's not.
But I don't know if it's interpreted the same way. If it is a 70 series that's only 2% of worldwide, then I stand wrong. But I'm just so sure it's 20%. Because if it's only 2%, then the mining just wouldn't have any influence on why Toyota make a decision to keep the V8.
It wouldn't be good for the V8 if it was only 2%.
Yeah.
That feels like it's
but maybe
already there.
I mean, maybe that's what it is now.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Because they're buying Rangers and other things now too.
Are they?
Some mines are.
Okay.
Yeah, all kinds of different cars.
Yeah, right.
We'll have to do a bit of research into that.
Yeah, so we just need to figure out what that 2% actually means.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. I just thought that was something interesting. 2% was such a small number.
It is. I'd really like for him to just elaborate on that. Just give us a bit more detail on it.
Yeah. On that as well, he also says that they never use low 4 first gear underground, always take off in second. Some sites have 4th and 5th gear locked out and full-time low engaged. And apparently all the mechanics hate V8s. All the underground mechanics hate V8 cars.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
So just a little bit of information there, I guess.
Yeah.
I wonder what the mechanics would...
On some feelings.
Because
I'll have to
in Hilux down there, or... A lot of Hilux mining cars, isn't there too?
Yeah, but I think... just from what I was told...
What the issue is.
From engineer, that they keep the V8 just for underground.
All right.
Because it's manual. They can't use brakes underground. Maybe this is just a specific part of the mining underground. I'm not sure. But
yeah, I mean, what I think from just looking at all these comments on YouTube is just that everyone's working on a different mine site with different rules and regulations, and not everything applies to everything, and everyone's getting up in arms about different things. But it's interesting to know about all the different things that are going on in different mine sites. Like, everyone's got a different experience with Toyotas, different cars, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'd be very interested to learn more about that.
I'd also like to know what other cars they're using on the mine sites. That'd be cool to know.
That'd be very cool. Send in your cars.
Yeah. Send us in what they all are, and sort of hate working on V8s, especially if they're trying to get the starter motor and things like that out, or the alternator's always going to go on them. And some sites they use different alternators and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah.
Well, That's all the questions I've got,
good
boys.
input.
There's some more, but we'll save them for next episode. I think this is already.
Yeah, let's get more information
already
from these guys that are coming with the mine site information.
Yeah.
We can keep you anonymous.
Well, I think if you work on a mine site and you want to send in some cool shit, like some stuff,
you can always just put anonymous, so we don't that way you won't get in trouble or lose your job.
Yeah. Where do they send it, Duggo?
Yep, they send it to the 4WD podcast on Instagram. I had a question for you.
Go on.
We'll quickly see this out, and I don't know if this is allowed to be asked or not.
Yeah.
Is that up and coming?
Yes, up and coming, but not set up yet.
I don't know what
no
you're
worries.
talking about.
That'll come.
But for audio listeners, you won't understand.
Yeah.
Phone line.
We'll be able to talk to us.
Yeah,
soon.
I've been talking about it for a while. We're doing new things here. So this might be the last episode we do in the garage.
Oh.
Ooh.
Just feels like this is where a 4WD podcast should be done, but anyway.
Yeah.
That's all good. Thinking of better things.
We're kind of...
Oh, how'd you get that off so quick?
Did you prepare this?
Works at Triple M on the morning. Always tough to sing along with James Blunt. High pitch. All right, let's go, because we've been on for ages. And if you're still with us, thanks for hanging in there. So as you heard, the 4WD podcast on Instagram, please get into us. You can get into us as well if you want, if we're shit.
And I'm out of shelter.
Out of shelter. Episodes over on BackChat's YouTube. The Southern River Band seeing us out. 4WD podcast driven by Shelter. Thanks, Ronnie. Thanks, Jaden. Thanks, listeners.
Thank you. Thank you.